Welcome back to the Deep Dive. If you happen to be one of our wonderful Sagittarian listeners, Sun or Rising Well, you definitely felt the sheer force of last month's eclipse
Oh,
season.
absolutely. The air has been thick with shakeups, particularly for all the mutable signs.
Right, leaving you probably feeling like you need a definitive roadmap.
And that is exactly our mission for this October 2025 deep dive. We're synthesizing these, let's say, complex planetary movements to give you some targeted knowledge.
Okay.
Think of this month as your preparation window. The key dynamic we're really going to be exploring is that tension between your public self, your first house, and your subconscious processing in the 12th house.
Gotcha. So identifying expansion reassessment.
Yeah, exactly. Identifying where genuine expansion lies, where internal reassessment is basically non-negotiable, and crucially, how you can, gracefully manage some challenging decisions. Stuff related to home, career, and partnerships.
Okay, let's start right at the top then. Your chart ruler, Jupiter, the great benefactor. It's still hanging out in Cancer, right? In the 8th house.
That's right, focused on your 8th house of shared resources, transformation, intimacy, and it stays direct until November.
Which makes October pretty critical for maximizing its gifts then.
Absolutely crucial. Jupiter in the 8th, it's all about expanding intimacy, finding opportunities through joint ventures, tapping into resources that belong to others, maybe a loan, a partnership, even inheritance possibilities.
Okay, sounds great, but you sound like there's a but coming.
Well, yeah, this abundance comes with a huge asterisk. You have to be realistic about financial commitments and, importantly, emotional transparency.
Wait, so Jupiter's about growth. Is it warning us against expansion here, or is it just about being, clear and upfront about it?
It's definitely the latter, growth with transparency. The ultimate takeaway here is that transformation, real deep change, not just getting more stuff that's your source of wealth right now. And we see squares to Jupiter, look, on the 1st and the 16th. If your strategy around shared resources is kind of superficial, it's likely going to fail.
So you have to be proactive.
Yes. Proactively clarify what needs to change emotionally with these joint assets. Look for ways to use existing partnerships to clear out old baggage, whether that's financial or emotional stuff.
That definitely sets a strong foundation, both financially and emotionally. Okay, so let's pivot now to the self, because you mentioned preparation, and we have the looming shadow of Mercury coming up.
Yes. This month kicks off the Mercury retrograde pre-shadow period.
And for those who might not know, the pre-shadow basically means the themes, the issues of the actual retrograde, they're kind of being introduced now, like trailers before the main movie in November.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this is super relevant if you have, say, 0 to 7 degrees of Sagittarius sun, moon, or rising, because the retrograde itself, it happens right in your sign, your first house.
Wow, okay. And Mercury rules some key areas for Sagittarians, doesn't it?
It does. 2 critical houses, the 7th house, that's one-on-one relationships, spouses, partners, clients, and the 10th house, which is all about career status and your public reputation.
So this pre-shadow period, it's bringing potential status changes up early, like maybe feeling the urge to end a relationship or change jobs or just rethink your professional standing.
Exactly. Those decisions are brewing now, and they're demanding your attention.
And when Mercury actually retrogrades in your first house, that's intense.
Yeah.
The focus is squarely on you.
Intensely on you. Self-expression, appearance, physical health. You might feel this really strong pull to change your look drastically.
Interesting.
Yeah, or maybe go back to therapy to work on self-esteem issues, or just simply pull away from certain professional or romantic ties that don't feel like you anymore.
But this intense personal focus, it sounds like it gets complicated pretty quickly by communication issues later in the month.
Correct. That pre-shadow period is going to oppose Uranus in Gemini, which is sitting in your 7th house of partners.
Well,
Yeah. So that opposition ramps up your desire to be heard, to communicate your truth to your partner, maybe your therapist. But Uranus brings this sharp, sudden, maybe erratic energy.
so high risk of just
Well,
blowing up, getting agitated, short-tempered.
very high risk. And our critical warning here is, look, if you try to express your truth by, let's say, meeting crazy with crazy, it's just going to burn the whole house down. You need tools here. You need composure.
Right. Control the message, not just the impulse to speak. Okay, I see. So let's shift gears a bit, because that intense personal stuff you mentioned is happening alongside tensions back home.
Which brings us to that Venus-Saturn opposition on the 11th.
Oh.
We've got Venus in Virgo, that's your career zone. The 10th house opposing Saturn in Pisces in your home and family zone. The 4th house.
Okay, so pulled in two directions.
Exactly that feeling. pulled between wanting to focus intensely on career ambitions, but then home or family needs are demanding just as much attention. And since this mirrors the energy of the Virgo solar eclipse we had, it's kind of a necessary structural reckoning.
A reckoning. Okay. And you mentioned the 6-month window now until February with Saturn and Neptune in the 4th house. That's home, family, roots.
Yeah, this whole period is really dedicated to getting grounded, dealing with, let's call it home or family karma-related matters.
Given that long window,
Yeah.
what's the absolute most critical structural thing to prioritize this month, before all the Mercury chaos really hits?
Prioritize the actual structural fixes now. I mean, literal problems, plumbing, mold, foundation issues, or making big decisions about moving or maybe dealing with aging parents.
Okay.
And because Neptune is there, blurring the lines, sometimes making things seem better than they are if you're thinking about buying a home, this transit is a major, major caution.
So really stress the inspections.
Absolutely critical. Foundation, water, pipes get thorough inspections because issues could be sort of hidden now and only get unveiled later. Think December or even March 2026. Don't skip the due diligence on this.
Got it. Okay, and what about career? You mentioned Venus in the 10th. What about that conjunction with the South Node in Virgo on October 4th? The South Node, that's about release, right? Letting go.
Precisely. It signifies releasing old career patterns, things you're karmically moving away from. You might find yourself reconnecting with past colleagues as you transition out of these old structures.
Or exploring new fields.
Yes, potentially exploring fields related to healing, health services, or even what we sometimes call Taurus things.
Taurus things.
Yeah.
What I mean by that in this context, like earthy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Grounded sensory activities ruled by Venus. Think hands-on fields, cooking, gardening, crafting, maybe jewelry design, working with crystals, natural healing modalities, things like that.
Okay.
But little heads up, watch for potential professional conflicts, maybe especially with women at work as you navigate moving out of these old comfort zones.
All right. Let's move into the inner world now, the realm of the subconscious. October 6th looks like a big day, a double whammy. First up, Mercury moves into Scorpio.
Into your 12th house, yes.
And the 12th house rules.
Isolation, self-undoing, the subconscious secrets, the hidden self. Mercury joining Mars there. That's a really probing transit.
So expect things to surface.
Definitely. Vivid dreams, deep processing of hidden thoughts, maybe old trauma coming up. I strongly, strongly recommend keeping a dream journal during this time. This period through November could bring some significant breakthroughs in healing if you pay attention.
Right. The 12th house needs that alone time to heal. But Mercury and Mars together, that sounds like it could also stir up subconscious fears, anxiety, a restless mind.
It certainly can, exactly. But also on the 6th, balancing that out, we get a beautiful full moon in Aries. That's your 5th house of fellow fire sign.
Ah, okay. Some positive energy then.
Yes, really positive energy focused on romance, creativity, children, hobbies, fun. This full moon could bring a really wonderful self-affirming moment, maybe fun outings, or even the completion of creative projects you started maybe 6 months ago.
Something you've been working on, maybe secretly, is now ready to be shared, since the sun's in your 11th house of audience.
Could be. But if we connect that full moon back to its ruler, Mars, which is sitting in that secretive 12th house, well, it adds a little wrinkle.
Ah, okay. What kind of wrinkle?
Well, that creative project might actually be a secret that gets revealed, or you might find yourself kind of self-sabotaging in love, maybe due to fear of abandonment or past wounds being stirred up by that 12th house activity.
Okay. So be mindful.
Be vigilant. Also watch for unexpected surprises involving children, maybe health things, sudden restlessness. Or, on a more positive note, if you're trying, this could actually be a time for pregnancy realization.
Okay, interesting possibilities there.
Yeah.
Let's jump back just a little bit to the very beginning of the month, October 1st. We've got Mercury and Libra squaring Jupiter. That's 11th house, Mercury groups, friends, squaring 8th house Jupiter, shared resources.
Yeah, that tension really revolves around the realistic cost, financial or energetic of social obligations and group projects.
So don't overcommit.
Exactly. It requires caution against over-optimism. Maybe you're putting energy or money into a new collaboration without really having a solid headcount of who's contributing. Or perhaps giving away gifts or incentives to promote a business idea without, proper planning.
Realism is key, especially in group efforts right now.
Definitely key.
But the energy seems to shift more positively later in the month. There's a new moon in Libra on the 21st, back in that 11th house.
Yes, a lovely shift. This new moon really sets the stage for the next 6 months, focusing on community, new friendships, and maybe establishing healthier routines within your social circles.
And Venus helps here too.
Big time. Venus enters Libra on the 13th, which really helps promote collective healing, harmonizing groups. Just makes social connections feel much easier and, frankly, more beneficial.
Okay, good. Now let's pivot again. October 13th also brings Pluto going direct in Aquarius. That's your third house.
Yes, the third house of communication, mindset, learning, local environment.
Pluto direct. That
That's
sounds powerful.
It is. It really empowers your mind. It can bring new ways of connecting, maybe through new apps, online communities, or just finding a different, more powerful way to articulate your thoughts.
But with Pluto, there's always that intensity.
Always. You need to be very mindful of negative self-talk, those limiting thought loops. This is about transforming the way you talk to yourself.
Right. Okay, that internal conflict we talked about earlier, it seems to peak around October 20th. Mercury conjunct Mars and Scorpio back in the 12th house.
Our sources describe this as potentially generating some pretty intense subsurface anxiety. This conjunction officially kicks off that pre-shadow period we discussed.
So this is where that bottled up stuff really heats up.
Exactly. You're dealing with maybe resentment, anxiety, frustration that you want to unleash maybe on partners, bosses, but you're holding it inside. This 12th house space, it's your transformation zone, and it demands conscious engagement.
So not just generic meditation.
No, this is more active. It's about journaling those specific resentments you're hiding. Using things like detoxing, retreats, maybe intense healing sessions to really process and purge these negative emotions. The purge needs a target, a conscious direction.
Because if you don't process them internally, then we hit the grand finale on October 29th. Mercury enters Sagittarius, your first house.
Bingo. And that first degree is pure, unadulterated Sag energy. You basically pull out the megaphone.
Ready to be assertive, shoot from the hip.
Totally. You want to just say it like it is.
But
This is the learning opportunity. That sudden assertiveness will immediately square the South Node, releasing the past, and oppose Uranus back in your 7th house, partners, others.
guaranteeing pushback.
Instant pushback. From family, partners, work, it's almost guaranteed.
So are you saying that the volume of that first house self-expression is directly related to how much unaddressed 12th house frustration is bubbling underneath?
That's precisely it. If you're just shooting from the hip without doing the inner work, people will blow up in response. The final reflection here is critical. You have to realize that dealing with those hidden 12th house issues is what prevents that combative projection from erupting in your first house.
And triggering those external blow-ups with partners, colleagues.
Yeah. It's really about finding a better way to communicate your personal truths, one that comes from a place of healing rather than just being reactionary.
Wow, okay. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for Sagittarians in October? Key takeaways.
Okay, number 1, patience is absolutely paramount, especially as communication gets really tense towards the end of the month.
Right.
Number 2, structure those home and family matters now. Do the 4th house work before you get totally swept up in that 10th house career ambition.
Get the foundation solid first.
Exactly. And most importantly, consciously manage that subconscious frustration, the 12th house stuff, before it erupts publicly when Mercury hits your sign in November.
Okay. Any specific dates to watch out for, good or bad?
Yeah, let's give you some quick actionable dates. Best days for love and romance look like the 6th through the 8th, the 13th, 18th, 19th, 23rd, 24th, and the 27th.
Cool.
Opportune days where things might just swing in your favor generally.
Yeah.
The 7th, 8th, 18th, 23rd, 24th, and 27th again.
And the challenging ones.
But please note, those challenging communication days, definitely the 1st, the 16th, and the 23rd. Expect mounting friction potentially in relationships toward the end of the month. Be prepared.
Okay, good heads up. So that strong first house focus we talked about, combined with that intense Mars-Mercury energy, it sounds like you might feel this huge urge for external change. Maybe a new hair color, a radical tattoo, some massive purchase to redefine your look.
Very possible.
So here's something to consider as you head towards November. Is that desire for a sudden, really external transformation coming from true inspiration? Or is it maybe avoidance? Are you perhaps trying to distract yourself from the deep internal 12th house work that this October is really asking of you? That's the question we'll leave you with this week.